Hello again. We've got a good one for you this time. I got all 4 cameras working. They're out there for 2 weeks, so we're going to see some deer and other animals. Now there's a coyote. We'll slow that down and see the coyote again. Not that we're short on video of coyote, but that one was moving along, traveling, going somewhere. More deer. These are calmly eating grass or whatever's green under the fallen leaves. They aren't dancing, however. That comes later. Doesn't seem to be much there to eat, but they're finding something. A little bit of wind. I think that's 4 deer. Did it get spooked a little bit? Now it's watching the camera. Deer seem to cross the trail more frequently than they walk down it. The trail does get mowed in the summer. That keeps the brush down and encourages grass and soft weeds to grow. Even when there isn't any snow, there doesn't appear to be much to eat there. They don't give up, though. See, there's a second deer in the background. Another deer got spooked by something. This was the doe. The buck in the background is wondering what her problem is. The buck smells the camera and jumps back. He must not like that new camera smell. He doesn't go far. I wonder if this pair are the same ones I watched here a couple years ago. At the time, I thought they were 18 months old twins. If they are the same deer, then they'd be almost 4 years old now. They don't look big enough for that. Deer coming out of the woods into the trail. At this point, 5 deer become visible. A young deer, a fuzzball. Maybe its first winter. Again, spooked by the camera. Apparently this new style camera is a little scarier. Another coyote going along the edge. But it comes back and also looks at the camera. Then goes about his business. More deer crossing the trail. Remember, this is made up of 20-second snippets put together. That's why you see the picture jump a little bit once in a while. Now, down to the lower field. Yes, the screen in this camera is still bad. I can't set the clock. The time and date are still wrong. But the deer don't care. They're out day and night, every day. Somehow they know when it's mating season. They don't have any choice when it's birthing season. That comes on a rigid schedule. They grow the winter coat at the proper time and shed at the proper time. Every day and night they eat as much as they can. That's a good distance for the deer to be away. Doesn't get overexposed by the infrared light on the camera. Coming right into the lighted patch of grass. But it has no idea the light's there. With all the grass, it selects something else to eat, some type of weed. And sticks, it's chewing on sticks. Twigs that fell out of the willow tree there. See the eyes in the background? There's another deer back there. This one's not alone. Maybe if we're patient, we'll see what the other deer looks like. Well, you can just make out the back part of it behind this deer. It's kind of shady back there. Then it disappears. So when the deer in the back finally comes into sight, it decides to do what it should have done while it was hidden. little too close to the camera there. But you don't have to leave. Isn't this the best greenery in the whole field to eat right here? Sure looks like it. But then if you walk around the field, it kind of all looks the same. Tends to be a little wet down there in the summer, so it's not the greatest hayfield. As you saw in the previous videos, it did get cut this summer and baled. That hasn't happened in a while. Years ago there was corn in the field. A few years of corn, and then it was planted with hay, alfalfa, timothy, maybe some types of grass. That's been quite a while. Clover, they like clover. I don't know how much of that's left. You don't see a lot of it. But they are selective, even though they spend a lot of time eating right in front of the camera. They don't take everything. Next time they might not get the same stuff they get this time, because nothing's growing this time of year. But there'll still be something there, something different. Not quite the choice they had the first time. This is actually in January. Another wet, rainy, snowy night. Another coyote. Or is it a pack of coyotes? There's more than one. Yep, there's another one. And then the deer running by. Probably the next day. One of them stopped. There's no snow on the grass right here in front of the camera. That's good eating. If we were running a restaurant for the deer, we'd know exactly what type of foods in what demand, what they like best, what they eat when what they like best isn't available. But that little deer isn't alone. It has a mother. Well, they're not going hungry this winter. They all look well fed. Of course, the heavy coat kind of camouflages ribs and stuff. But the does should have twins if it's an easy winter. If the coyotes don't get them in the spring. Another wet, rainy, snowy night, another coyote, followed by a fox. Fox out in the field. Here's a herd of deer, the herd of 6, posing nicely before they file off across the field. I think there's a herd of 6, a herd of 4. There's that buck and doe that hang out together. There's a couple bucks that are together. And there's a few deer that come by seemingly alone. So all in all, there's a lot of deer. Now down to the bottom of the hill, camera 4. Got the parade of deer going by. This is one of the older cameras. It doesn't seem to have as quite a big a hot spot in front of the infrared light. Maybe it spreads the light out a little better. I don't know. This is just mostly woods here. It used to be a Christmas tree farm. Whatever vegetation they're eating is just whatever's there. Nothing's ever been planted other than Christmas trees, and that was a very long time ago. There's a row of walnut trees off to the right. I think those walnut trees are taking a toll on the pine trees that are downhill from it. And here's a solid deer out in the snow. Kind of a cool afternoon. The snow is on the back of the deer there. It doesn't even melt. That must be a really warm coat, keeping the heat in and the snow out. Even at 16 or 18 degrees. Don't see the deer shivering. Keep watching, there's more and more deer. So isn't that a dance where the deer stands up on its hind legs and shows off for all its friends? Showing off got the common response there where all the deer walked away. There's a second one. We missed most of the second one. Let's do that in slow motion, see what it looks like. It really can't straighten its legs. It's not meant for standing up on two legs like that. It takes a lot of energy, it looks like. A lot of effort. Maybe that one deer forgot to tear off the calendar page and still thinks it's mating season. Now on to camera 5, the backwoods, where there's a fox and a deer. Not exactly at the same time, there's probably time between them. And a rabbit, followed by a fox only an hour or so later. There's something we didn't expect. A deer with one antler. It's been weeks since we've seen any antlers. The last video had none. But here's a spike horn with one side still hanging on. I had mentioned in a previous video that the spike horn with one antler is probably ranks pretty low as far as bucks are concerned. But now he's the only deer with antler left. Makes him big man of the woods. Looks like he wants to go past the camera and down the path out into the field, but's afraid. He spends a lot of time looking at the camera. Looking at the camera is more important than looking for food. The camera does have a slight red glow at night, so maybe that's what he sees. Got to be straight on to see the red glow. If you're off to the side, I don't think you see it. But he's pretty close to centered. So off he goes in a different direction. Doesn't make it past the camera. So if you're hoping to see the fisher, you're going to be out of luck this time. Be sure to like and subscribe. Maybe fishers will be back next time. We'll see them in the future. I shouldn't say fisher as plural because they're supposed to be extremely territorial and not share territory with other fishers. Except maybe a male and a female might overlap territories a little bit. I haven't seen a turkey lately. Personally, I'd like to see a dozen turkeys, but I haven't seen that in years. That was back before I knew what a fisher looked like. Also back when the field behind the hedgerow was corn. These are white-tailed deer, but they're not very good at showing off their white tail. At least not at the moment. You mostly see it when they're only very briefly in sight. That's when the tail goes up. When they're leaving town in a hurry. Yep, walking past the camera. Not towards it, but kind of away from it. Nobody paid much attention to the stump this time. The stump is just kind of there. Anyway, that's what makes it exciting and suspenseful. Not knowing what type of animal is going to cross the trail next. Come back next time to find out.